just never gets boring or tedious, does it? Celtic are champions of Scotland once more. 4 in a row for Celtic. For the second time in the past 10 or 15 years, we have witnessed Celtic win 4 in a row. That's right, 4 top flight titles back to back to back to back. And what a feeling it is. What a day it is as Celtic celebrate more history. And let me just use that number, which apparently had so much meaning and significance. It's a 55th league title for Celtic. They have reached 55. They are now on par with that big record, that big important number. And it just feels great. It feels fantastic. No matter how the media might try to portray it, no matter what non-Celtic fans might try and tell you, it never gets boring. I never tire of this. In fact, I welcome it. I welcome the domination of Scottish football by Celtic because I love it every single year watching my team lift trophy after trophy, title after title. It fuels me. It keeps me going. I have been incredibly blessed. I am so lucky that I have grew up in a generation of supporting Celtic where I know nothing but success. Winning 4 in a row, I mean, it wasn't done often before we made it the trend, before we started winning year after year. So to sit here by the age of 25 and say that I have witnessed Celtic winning 4 in a row twice already, I think my dad downstairs, who's in his 70s, has only seen Celtic win 4 in a row once more than me, if I'm right. So that just shows you how lucky, how blessed my generation of Celtic supporters is. I never take these days for granted. I never look at them as another day in the office and another year gone by where we just win for the sake of it. I look at this as something incredibly special. I look at this and cherish it. And I can't wait to do it all again next year. You know, we've still got a wee bit to go. We've still got a treble to win. But today's narrative, today's story is that Celtic are champions of Scotland. Don't let them forget it. Because, you know, we were told 55 was coming for a long time. And Celtic have done it in pretty astute fashion, I would say. It's one of those days where a match reaction doesn't truly exist, does it? I mean, the big talking point is the title, is winning the league. The football kind of comes second on a day like this. So I will get to talking about the game, don't worry. I know that's why you're probably here. But I think the reason that we're mostly here is to rub it in the faces of those who aren't Celtic supporters that we're champions again. And that's the thing, football's competition, sport is competition, and without it, there's no point. I will be rubbing this in, as you all should be. Go to your work Monday. Go to your work on Monday, rub it into every Rangers supporter in the workplace, get yourself on Facebook, get yourself on Twitter, and don't let them forget, because when they won 55, and they won their first league title in 10 years, we were told it was the biggest significant achievement that Scottish football had ever seen. So for us to do that and now clear Rangers of 2 major honours, surely the significance is doubled, you know. That's fantastic for Celtic, and we're one away from setting the record of the big 56. What a year it's been for Celtic, and I'm just so proud of this group of players. I'm proud of Brendan Rodgers and so happy for them that the season has culminated in this fashion. We are nothing short of deserving champions. And people in the media and journalists who have got it out for Celtic and Brendan Rodgers will try and paint the picture that this is a league title that's been handed to us. This is a league title that we've won by default rather than earned. That will never be the story with this Celtic side. And when we look back on this league winning season, in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, I want people to remember, I want people to come back to this video and remember that Celtic worked for this title, that they earned this title. And don't forget, this was the league season that we went into where Philippe Clement was bringing his Rangers players over the barricades at Hampden to celebrate with fans after a win against St Johnstone, when we were getting told that we would see the real mighty, ferocious Rangers, that we would see a league-winning Rangers that Brendan Rodgers couldn't handle, and Clement would finally be the manager to see him off. But we've also heard that story time and time again, and I'm not here just to make it a whole bitter I told you so sort of thing. I try and call things how I see it. It's always been the aim of this channel, but I'm calling it how I see it. I'm calling it as the Celtic team who dominated for a reason this year. The Celtic team that are so many points clear in the league for a reason this year. The Celtic team who are about to win a treble for a reason this year. because they've worked for it, and every single player has played their socks off. They have worked their socks off, and they have earned this title. Brendan Rodgers is now the third most decorated manager in the history of Celtic Football Club, only behind Jock Stein and Willie Mealy. That is incredible. James Forrest is now the most decorated Celtic player of all time, with 26 major honours. Callum McGregor will probably surpass that in the next few years. He's on 24. These are records that Stein, Mealy, and guys like Bobby Lennox set that seemed almost insurmountable. And don't get me wrong, Brendan Rodgers probably isn't going to be here to win 25 or 30 major honours like Mealy and Stein respectively, but he certainly is making a dent for the modern game. But the likes of Lennox setting that record for these players to come by and smash them when they looked almost unbeatable is a huge testament to the winning mentality of this Celtic side. We heard Callum McGregor come out in his press conference and say, we don't listen to the outside noise. We don't listen to the journalists who try to write up the articles saying that it's a tedious task, that it's boring or whatever. They do not understand how difficult it is to keep up this level of winning and this consistency of winning. And it's so true, because the people writing these articles probably haven't kicked a ball in their life. Probably couldn't have kicked their own arse, to be quite honest. To go out there year after year to win not only trophy after trophy but treble after treble is unprecedented, no matter the quality of your opposition, no matter the gulf in class or finances, because it seems as though there's still a lot of cavemen out there that think finance equals success. Well, that's not happened for Manchester United, who have spent more money than anybody in the world over the past 10 years. That's not happened for other clubs who have spent hundreds of millions of pounds. And hey, when Rangers tried to buy everything in sight, we've seen where it got them. So money doesn't equal success. Consistency, work ethic, professionalism, that's what equals success. And we have done our due diligence in every signing we have made and every manager we have appointed in this past 10, 15 years. And we have reaped the rewards of that. And guess what? The one time we never done that due diligence, that's when we lost a league title. That's when we won 0 trophies out of 3. So the record shows that going out there and doing your job in a professional manner and maintaining consistency is what wins you league titles, not spending money. So don't let anybody tarnish what Celtic have done this year. We are champions. Drink it in. Raise a glass. 55 glorious league titles for Glasgow Celtic. Don't you forget it. And what a way to do it up at Tannadice this afternoon. We've made Tannadice a welcoming place for title celebrations. Not the first time that we have secured a title up there, and today we done it in relentless fashion. After quite an even start to the game, I would say. God, the tangerines helped us out, and I don't mean Dundee United, I mean the actual physical tangerines that were thrown on the park. Jokes aside, Celtic, unbelievable, a winning machine. And that run of form that we've seen perhaps between February and March has been put to the side, has been put behind us. I want us to back that up next week at Ibrox, by the way. Can I just caveat that by saying that next week I think Ibrox is still a huge game for us to really back up all that. But that run of form that people called concerning between the second leg of Munich until maybe the start of April, that's behind us. This Celtic team are back to the relentless way that they were prior to the Munich tie, prior to the winter transfer window. This is the Celtic team that we got familiar with at the start of the season that we all looked at and went, whoa, this could be Rodgers' best team yet. 5-0 today up at Tannadice without breaking a sweat, you know, and we heard from Glenn Middleton, a Dundee United player, that they didn't want to let any celebrations take place. And we know how good Dundee United have been this season. They've been remarkable coming back up from the Championship. And Celtic didn't break a sweat. We barely got out of second gear. And that's the machine of this Celtic team this season. That's what we're capable of. And that's what I expect to see of us every week. 5-0. We blew them away. And I think that, once again, as it usually happens, it's typical when you go up 5-0 against opposition, that you seem to see the team maybe take their foot off the gas and lay back a little bit, and they don't want to hurt them too much. It could have been 7, could have been 8, could have been 9, could have been 10 today. for Celtic. That's the level of football that we were playing. I think that Celtic just opted in the end to take it easy on Dundee United. It was already bad enough that we'd emptied out their stadium in course for a Celtic title celebration. There was a wee bit of mercy shown on this day. Wow. I mean, where do you begin with today's performance and the players? I think the one thing that I need to cover straight away that I want to talk about and get it out the way while it's here, is the protests about today from the Celtic supporters. 2 fan protests in both the first and second half. I stand 100% with the supporters. I know there will be the Celtic fans who say it's destructive, it's annoying, there's a time and a place, yada yada. There is no way on earth that we can be justifying football clubs to charge £42 for a ticket. And that was before you had to pay for your £8 delivery fee, by the way. So you're talking a £50 ticket for Tannadice this weekend, which is ridiculous. Dundee United fleecing the absolute piss out of Celtic supporters because they knew what was the significance of this game. Some people might go fair play, they know their worth, they're doing that and they're making sure they get every penny out of it. We are football supporters who aren't blessed with the finances of Paul Getty, of Jeff Bezos, of Elon Musk. We're a working class support, and in this financial climate, to justify paying £50 or charging £50, I should say, for a football match that isn't, a Champions League final, is utterly ridiculous. You cannot justify that. It's unfathomable to justify it. And Celtic fans, I am very proud for stepping up to that today. And I'll say that to even Brendan Rodgers, who I love with all my heart. I seen him shaking his head during the first one with the Tangerines. I can't shake my head. I nod my head. I agree. I raise my hands and say, well done to the Celtic supporters for making it clear that it is unacceptable to be in charge of these prices. With the world that we're currently living in, and I know these football clubs are struggling. I know that Dundee United's hardly blessed with a financial situation that can make them comfortable for years and years and can sign all these players or whatnot, but to go and charge that for these tickets, it's taking advantage of Celtic supporters. It's ludicrous. And we've seen these protests all over the country over these past 5 or 10 years in particular. 20's plenty. That was the slogan. And that's the way it should be. I mean, listen, I could probably get my ticket for the Scottish Cup final cheaper than what I could have went up to Tannadice today. And that's a cup final at Hampden. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Scandalous. Not even used that word yet, but it is scandalous. So, big fan of the 2 protests. I know there's going to be plenty of people in the comments going, Ryan, it disrupted the game, it's immature, it's this or that. If you want to side with the suits that are charging this and taking the piss out of your own kind, that's fine. I'm not going to take your opinion away from you, but I would seriously ask yourself to consider what Celtic Football Club is about, where Celtic Football Club came from, and the way that football is going. Football is being ripped away from us at every level, in every country. And if you want to stand idly by and let that happen, you go ahead and do that. I certainly won't be. I stand with the supporters. Let our voices be heard. Unacceptable. And I mean, it done us a favour because the first protest really changed the game, didn't it? Let's thank the league title win today to the Celtic supporters. Let's give them the credit that they're due. We weren't great in the opening 10-15 minutes. It was a bit of a back and forth affair. I thought Dundee United actually looked a little more positive out the two sides. And it's not only down to the protest. I know that some people that don't support Celtic might try and paint that as the reason for Celtic going up and getting their goal and winning the game this afternoon. Celtic were always going to come out on top today, I think. But the pace of the game did change after that. I think Celtic maybe got out of that predicament that they were in for the first 10 or 15 minutes, where Dundee United seemed to have a confidence around them, a flow around them. It really disrupted them, and then when Celtic managed to go up and that own goal happened, the game was Celtic's. The game was always Celtic's from that point on, and it was just like a barrage after that. It took half an hour for the deadlock to be broken. That first half an hour, there was still a bit of animosity in the game, you could say. It was still a little bit of a tense feeling in the game. And then that was just all gone after Celtic got the goal. I don't know if there was maybe a nervousness of Celtic not getting the job done today in that opening 20 minutes. I don't know if they were just really hoping to get a goal early. It found its way into the back of the net. Don't care if it was an own goal or not. it found its way in there, and the game changed from that point forward. Adamida scored 2, Nicholas Kuhn scored 2, the Celtic front three were electric today. Dyson Maeda with 2 assists to add to his goal contributions tally this season. The front three were fantastic, and it was really nice to see Nicholas Kuhn come back into the starting 11 and deliver that level of performance. I think it's just a reminder to people, and James McFadden said it perfectly in the pre-match build-up, or maybe it was half-time actually. God forbid that he didn't meet the expectations that he set himself, because they were so high. You can't keep that level up all season. I think unless you're Lionel Messi or whoever, it's just impossible to keep that up. He still had a great season, and the 2 goals today is a reminder of how good this player is. You've got people wishing folk out the door as soon as they have 3 or 4 games in a row that they're not hitting the heights. And to wish a player of his calibre out the door is fucking ridiculous. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Great player, 2 good goals today. A real interesting selection to have him back in. I really didn't expect Kuhn to start today. And not that I didn't want him to start. I was fine with him starting, of course, but I wasn't expecting it. So to see that decision justified in such a significant way with the 2 goals, brilliant. Adamida coming on for Jota, who we'll talk about in a moment, gets 2 goals again today. It carries on what I think has been a great vein of form for him. I think that he's looking like the striker that we spent money on, and looking like the striker that we've seen towards the end of last season. Is he a guy that thrives at the end of the season? Maybe so. I don't know, but he's the. I know there's a player there. I made a video during the week talking about this. I love him, and I'm so happy to see him get a couple of goals again today. Front three was brilliant, fantastic. The midfield again, by the way, Arne Engels, brilliant. Brilliant. There's that one bit of the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And he gets the ball just before the centre circle, and you think he's going to run into a bit of bother, and then he kind of swivels and gets round to the other side of his man, plays this beautiful ball. It's for the goal, in fact, is it not? It actually leads to a goal. It leads to was it Ida's second, maybe? I can't remember. Did it lead to a goal? Plays a beautiful ball over to the flank. Ball gets crossed in. Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Hatate once again great. McGregor once again great. Defensively, of course, keep a clean sheet. Pass marks for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and chew the ear off yous. But that's the sort of performances that justify the seasons. I don't know. They justify everything I've been saying about this team. And the lows at the highs. You've got to take the good with the bad sometimes. Justifies everything I think I've tried to shout about this team this year. We're just brilliant. We're bloody brilliant. Obviously concerning to see Jota go off the way he did. Of course, we've seen the scenes after the game as well. I have a bleak feeling that might be his season over. I hope not. Touch head or lid. I hope not. But it's obviously not good, so we'll wait and see what the manager has to say about that in the coming days. But let's not let it get us down on a day like this. We're waiting on James's goal. We've got a lot more goals to come, a lot more big victories to come, including hopefully next week at Ibrox. We're champions again, man. Right, that does it for today. I mean, this is going to go on all week, this party, isn't it? Celtic, 4 in a row, 55-time champions. Brendan Rodgers wins another league title as Celtic manager. What a time to be a Celtic fan. Just enjoy it and go and enjoy your celebrations tonight, because, listen, football's a funny old game, and at some point in our lifetimes, maybe Celtic won't be the team winning the league year after year. Never take it for granted. Never. So enjoy yourself tonight, ladies and gents, and I'll see you all next time.